Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today we'll be doing what if Deku was Venom, and just saying, guys, I feel okay. I'm on vacation, so there's no college, there's none of that, right? So I'm free to do whatever, and probably in the next week or two, we'll get back our Naruto edition. That includes what if Naruto was neglected, what if Naruto, which is the new Naruto that I'm bringing out, which is what if Naruto got all of Ashura's powers, and which there was a lot of scripts for this, which I had to throw away or reuse and then throw away again, and then bring it back to alternately to try to figure out how Naruto would get it. Because initially my idea was like, I'm just gonna put a ass pull and just do it like I said it, like no. But then I realized I'm a YouTuber and I'm supposed to be creative, so I had to delve really into Utsuki and how they act in general. And it came along this little thing called the Karma Seal. So I know, yes, Ashura kind of doesn't look a look on Otsutsuki, does he? But then remember, he's still an Otsutsuki quarter or not. He is still an Otsutsuki. So I can't do that, and I am planning to do that. But I also have, I'm not just going to make it plan like, oh, he got it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do it plan like that. I'm going to give him extra abilities. I'm going to give you a decision. If I can give him the Jogan, if I should or should not give him the Jogan, or should I give him another dojutsu, or should I give him the Uzugan like in my plenty of other what ifs. I will let you decide down in comments down below, but that's not what I'm here for. But this is what I'm not here for. We're here for my favorite series, as it is. What if Deku was Venom? And yeah, guys, I know. Y'all might not like this, but I like this. So shut your fuck ass up, because I don't care, right? Because if I don't enjoy a series, and if I stop liking a series, I'm gonna stop giving a fuck, right? I'm gonna put it out slowly. I'm gonna slowly forget about it, which sadly happened to what if Deku had metal magic, and I got quickly bored of that, and I was like, okay, I did write down a few spells of that shit, but I'm like, no, that is like saying like I'm stupid because I don't like. Guys, tell me if I should bring that back. Like, I don't care. But to keep me interested in this series, you should pitch me ideas. Like, put a little sauce there and put a sauce there. Oh, and by the way, remember there was my motto. What if not Fumi was motto? What if I'm still doing it? Yeah, I'm still doing it. What if not? What if thing was Malfumi? What if not Fumi was Madara Chiha? Yada yada yada. I'm still doing that, do not worry. But I did say something about y'all getting to decide your own what if that I'm supposed to be doing. But remember the last one, the comment that I got from him, I kind of didn't know the anime he was talking about. I probably did because it was a Naruto's thing, but the thing he wanted me to do with Naruto I didn't know, so I was puzzled, and I'm gonna probably text you back and answer something else because I kind of don't know what the anime is, and just for the clear description of what you gave, I kind of still don't know what it is because I couldn't like look it up or go on and watch the anime for you because I didn't know the name of it. So I'm gonna probably text you about today or tomorrow and see and get all that finalized out. But actually, so if you don't want to know what's going on in this series, so please keep short a few minutes. If you don't, I want to know what's coming ahead, and this is just a quick review of what's gonna happen today. So we're gonna learn a bit about more of Deku's backstory, and we're gonna go more deep into why he feels guilty, and we're gonna find out something pretty surprising about Deku's dad. Well, what his dad did to him, and we're gonna find out how Deku's personality and mental state is. Because I never really pondered upon that, but I did give you a glimpse of how he's kind of depressed sometimes, and he can lock himself away for a long period of time, and forget about everybody in his life on but his particular goal. So you're gonna learn more about that, and actually you're gonna learn it in a few couple of scenes. Well, a few, and I'm gonna probably do it in the middle. So yeah, so we see Deku sleeping, tossing and turning in his bed, with Jiro not in his bed. She is on the couch, just watching a movie, cause it's, let's say it's 5 in the morning, and she's just watching a movie, just watching something. But he's rolling in bed, tossing and turning, and he did clean up his bedroom because remember he was stuck in his room for a long period of time. And if you don't watch the second part of this, so yeah, he was stuck in his bedroom for a long period of time. So not Nejire, so Momo, Suyu, and Jiro were on him, and they didn't really mind that he was spending so much time in there, but they were concerned for him. And he's just tossing and turning. Remember something of his past that he tried to lock away with a lot and key and pelt that shit away. He's just dealing with his inner demons at this point. He's getting up in a cold sweat, and he just gets up out of the bed, put on a his shorts because he was just in his boxers at the time. No, they didn't do anything, but he was in his boxers, so he was just sleeping. Okay, he got him, put on some shorts, and go to the kitchen and drink some milk. Seeing that, no, he wouldn't see because his house is like, kind of too big for that. He would go and he would see the light for the living room on, and after drinking the milk, he would go into the living room, and Suyu is at her house, which is like like a a, a house away from him, and then Momo was like far down the road. So yeah, they could sleep over, but they just plot convenience that they're staying home. Okay, so Deku goes into the living room, seeing Jiro, and Deku goes over and sits down in Jiro's lap. And Jiro just rubs his hair. They're watching Daredevil, Netflix Daredevil or something, because that's what I've been watching. Yes, I'm watching episode 1 because I kind of didn't finish it the first time because I was a stupid. I didn't fin. Well, I don't know if it's still going on actually, but I didn't finish it. And last time I believe I was kind of intoxicated, so I was kind of high in the sky. If you could piece together what I just said, I was kind of high in the sky. So I was doing something else. So I was a different plane of reality, and I'm not talking about that, but I'm also talking about something close to that, and it also has something to do with the dentist. So yeah, I was under something, but I was also not legally. I was legally under something. So the last time I watched it, it was everything is I knew things that were in there that didn't happen. Certain scenes that I misread. Well, my mind misread them, anyways, and they were a little more sexual than they were supposed to be. So basically, how I read it out was, I looked at this particular team. If this guy just touched his leg, my mind would be all up. Just she's touching right in the dead smack middle. Look, that was what was going on. Okay, I go lie to you. I go cat. That's what went on. But we're not here for that. We're not here to hear me rant about how I I, I was low key drugged up. But it was legal, so I don't have to worry about it. But it was weird. Anyways, let's get back into the video. So Deku just sitting down, and Jiro just calls out to Venom and tells him to tell them their schedule for today. And Venom tells her, like, y'all got math, then English, then science, and then sports. Then not sports, then hero practice. And Deku's schedule is math, council meeting, English, council meeting, science, and training, and one more council meeting. Then he goes home, and then hero training, and hero training. So Venom. So Jiro looks at Deku and says, "Look like you have your time cut out for you." And Deku sighs and says, "You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't as good as I am." And she kind of rubs his head and laughs. And Jiro took the car to go, cause remember Deku kind of has a bike and a car. So Jiro took the car, and she went to her parents' house, and cause they do it. All of them are 16, by the way. I didn't notify you of that. All of them are 16. All of them are 16. So woohoo. So yeah, and Deku just getting ready, put on his white button up shirt with his green epaulets, which are, if you don't know what epaulets are, because I call them epaulets, but that's probably not what they're called, because I don't actually know. um Epaulets are the cloth that is on your shoulder, that thingy. Yeah, he's wearing some epaulets, and he's just there chilling. No, not chilling. He puts on his, I'm giving him a black pants with some red Nike shoes, and he saw, you remember those shoes that I showed you in what if was it? Abandoned. You remember those shoes? Basically that. Basically those shoes, because I'm not gonna go over there and try to show you them, because that sounds like effort that I don't put in. So yeah, he has those shoes. Yes, he has the drip. He grabs a tuna sandwich and a juice box and some bacon and eggs, and just dashes out the door, eating it before going down, right? And he decides he's going to go over to his mother first, and then go to school, because he hasn't seen his mother in a long time. So, well, not a few weeks he hasn't seen his mother. So he goes over and he sees her mother just there looking over some cases, not cases. Oh, what is called that shit? Mm, medical records. Because, like I said, she is a nurse, one of the best nurses in My Hero Academia. So, well, yeah, she's one of the best nurses in My Hero Academia or Japan. So she's the bitch. She can hook you up. Anyways, he goes over, kisses her on the cheek, and asks how her day was, and she says that it was okay, and she just says how is being a student council being, and Deku looks at her, and she knows, and like Deku, she has a very calm and just understanding personality. So yeah, that's where he got his personality from. And Deku just finishes eating his food, because he didn't eat all. He just only ate the tuna sandwich on the way, and he's eating the eggs and bacon. And he's explaining that he already, not even a day in, has paperwork to do. And she knows that Deku, he's smart, but he doesn't like doing shit. So that's why he has an at-home job, and he's lucky that at-home job pays him fuckloads of money, because damn, man's lazy. Mans is lazy, and don't get me twisted, Mans is lazy actually. So Deku just goes over, and he looks at his phone, and he says, "Well, it's time to go to school." And he says by his mother, he gives his mother a kiss on the cheek. Jiro picked up Suyu and Momo, carried them to school, so he doesn't have to go there, and he couldn't because he's on a bike. So he can't carry all of them. So he's just riding to school until he sees a building on fire. He wasn't gonna do anything at first, because remember, he does not have a hero license. But he sees 3 children in the house, and he knows he shouldn't be doing this. And he parks his bike, he jumps in the air, and he activates his venom suit, shooting down the web and landing on the top of the roof. He punches a hole in the roof, which he probably shouldn't have done because when air gets down, fire comes up. But he's not. He has a significant thing to that. He says, "Fire, fire, fire distinguisher webs," and he shoots up the whole place. And from the webs comes foam, which are the foam that comes out of hydra, whatever those things are. And he starts putting it all around the room, all around the building. And he finally gets the children where he takes up all the children, puts one is holding onto his neck, and he has the rest in his arms. He jumps out the window, and Venom, a tentacle comes out of Deku's suit, and it grabs a pole and then lets them down slowly, and their mother of the children comes and thanks him. And Deku builds up webs in his wrist, and he puts it on the building, and the building ceases to be on fire. And this is where when he finished and he took off all the webs and all the webs dissolved, the top building where the children were kind of broke, and it kind of fell into pieces. And Deku gets everyone out of the way in time, because remember, Deku's like really really fast, and he's been training to use his webs, and he's not, to put it simply, he's not a rookie. He's not weak, he's not stupid. So he's pretty smart on these things, and he can pick up, and his reaction speed is absolute. And he also has something called Spidey Sense. So he knew when the before the building started to crumble, that something was gonna happen. So he just got everyone out of there, and he landed on the floor, and everyone's like thanking him and saying thank you, blah blah blah. And a pro hero, and let's call him, he's the number eighth, number eighth hero, and he starts reprimanding him, saying that he's not strong enough, and that he shouldn't have interfered, and that he's weak, and that he shouldn't have done anything because he's not an official hero. And this is where the people are like, no, he saved us all. And remember, this man's quirk is literally to destroy things. He can pulse the ground, and like things would move away from him. And so they're like, hey, come on, man. And they start saying, well, your quirk would have done nothing, so you're weak in this situation. You would have just destroyed the thing more. So they're calling him out on his bullshit and saying that the kid did more than he ever could. And he's like, shut up your mouth, you little peasants. And he says this out loud, and the public are like, what the fuck? And Deku says, bruh, like, I understand like your anger and that I'm risking my life, but bro, why the fuck you call them peasants though? And he's like, what are you saying, little peasant? And then again, calls Deku a peasant, but then Deku says, who the fuck you calling a peasant, bruh? I have more money than you have teeth, bruh. The fuck? Well, no. That's not a good association. I have more money than you have years on your lifespan, buddy. Shut your mouth. Anyways, and he just goes, and he's like, he takes off the venom suit, hops back on his bike, and he wheelies himself out of there, and all this time having the middle finger up to this nigga. And he says, I could give less of a fuck, like, bro. And note this, the cameras caught him, well, not the putting his middle finger up and wheeling out of there, the cameras caught him saving everyone, and how the like number 8 hero was, what he was doing and saying. And they're like, nah, number 8 hero, he a bitch. Deku, he a god. So yeah, the public are already getting warmed up to Deku, and the police are like, well, if it wasn't for him, those kids would have died. So we could let this slide, because he came like 5 minutes after, and that those kids didn't have any 5 minutes to like get out of there, because remember when people are put under extreme heat, they kind of faint, and these are kids we're talking about. So yeah, they would have fainted. So So they were just about to fade, and that building was just about to crumble. So they're like, yeah, I'm gonna let that slide. And remember, this is being broadcasted on live TV, so everyone saw this. And Deku just he saw the people outside. He put on his venom suit, and he cognitoed inside of the school and turned it back on. And he walked into his class. Now the class hasn't seen this video because they're in class. Although they could be on their phones. Why the fuck would we be checking news? Fuck that noise. Why would we checking news for what, bitch? Anyways, so they get into the class, and Aizawa was talking and blah blah blah, and they're talking about who's gonna be the class president. And they all look at Deku, and Deku's like, no, I'm not class president. I am school rep. I'm first year representative president. So yeah, that is not my forte. So he's just like, that's not my job. Y'all decide what you doing. And then Aizawa tells him, Deku, you know you have to be in the presence of all of the people who are getting their who are choosing the the what is it called, getting chosen to be class president. So Deku was like, the fuck? And he's like, so as always explains, like, he has to be in every single class today, and that's why the council meeting was put, so he could have time to do what he was doing. So Deku was like, fuck you. And he didn't say it out loud, but he thought it, because he was like, hey, fuck you a bitch. Yeah, he was mad about this. Like, I would be mad too. I'd be mad furious. Anyways, so they're like, okay, so they're like, hey, sorry. So they're like, bro, like, why you do me dirty like this? And Dicker's just looking at him like, why the fuck did you do me dirty like this, bro? I thought we were cool. I thought we were niggas. And I was like, nah, we are niggas, but like, man, you have a responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. And we didn't say that because that's a Deku thing. Well, Deku thing now in this reality. So Deku gets up and he gets to the middle of the board and he starts writing down names. And he says, I'm gonna pick the people that are more solidified to be class presidents. He write down Momo. He write down Momo, Ida, Mina, and Karashima, and that was it. And he puts down a chalk. Anyone for Momo? And like 2 to 3 people raised their hand. Anyone for Karashima? 3 people. And anyone from Ida? 4 people. And anyone from Mina, which was 4 people. So Deku's in a dilemma now because like they're kind of all 2 are kind of even. So he's like, I got it. So he says Momo is vice president, and Ida is class president, and Mina, Karashima are prime ministers of the class. So they would make sure that books are handed out and people have the essential stuff, where the presidents would do all the superficial stuff. So Deku claps his hand and says, that is work done. And he goes to the classroom because remember, he has to go to all of the classes. I don't know if I mentioned before that Deku also has a skin tight long sleeve under the shirt. So yeah, I don't think I mentioned that. And that's only a kind of thing when he has on his it's not something he wears often, okay? Just that's something he wears often. I'm so tired. Anyways, so Deku goes to class 1B and he officially meets Kendo Horse Girl, because I can't remember her name. The one true black guy, the original black guy, and if you don't know, is that guy that is literally fully black and has white hair. The one that's why I call him the original black guy. You know how there's the original demon? Yeah, he's the original black guy. So he's there. Mother Forest priest bitch. Her who else that was there that was kind of memorable? Glue guy, yeah, glue guy, that nigga. He was not memorable, but I remember him for some reason. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm actually gonna put my control guy there. I don't know none of these names, bro. Shinso, yeah, Shinso, yeah. Shinso's in class 1B, so he's semi-satisfied. He's not satisfied because he's like, fuck UA, not fuck UA, fuck class 1A students, bro. He's on Monema's train, so he's like there. And Deku walks in the class, he says hi, he's class 1A, he's the first year's representative, blah blah blah, and Monema kinda says like, huh. And he's like, I should have been class representative. And Deku kind of smiles and says, to be class representative, you need to have hundred scores on every test you got, which was technically impossible, but I made it possible. So there it is. And he said this all with a smile on his face, cause well, not a smirk or a cocky smile, but a smile that shows kindness, but just shows if you cross me, I'm gonna kill you. So that smile represents. He was like, damn, he doesn't give a fuck about me. Like that's the aura his smile gives off. Like that his smile, he's so powerful. His smile gives off an aura. So he's just like, okay, fuck that noise, fuck that shit, and he just write down the same thing that it had for he had for what it's called now, class 1A, and it just leaded up to, unlike his class, because he didn't know these people that very well, and the reason why he picked Momo, Kirishima, Ida, and Mina was because all of them can rally up the students, so they can, one can be strict by the rules, the other can be calm and not negligent. I want to say negligent, but can let people slip away with certain stuff, which would also make her be kinder. And Mina could excite people and get people to do stuff, and Karashima could like bump up the morale and people's like willpower, whatever. They're not the Green Lanterns. But talking on Green Lanterns, I have something to say. I want those doubts. But yes, I'm doing all this in the middle of the fucking video. But we do not care about that bullshit. Like, who gives a fuck, right? And what I have to say is that guys, come, come, come close to the computer, the phone, the tablet, whatever you're using, just come close, come close. There's gonna be a new Deku with it. But hold on. And that's what if Deku's gonna be a Red Lantern. But here's the twist. Unlike you naturally think, oh, he's just gonna be a Red Lantern. No. I said fuck just being a Red Lantern, bro. Imagine if a Red Lantern had all the powers of the other Lantern, to instill fear, to have hope, to have will, to have all this, to have teleportation, healing, all this shit, right? Imagine that. Just imagine it in your mind, and just imagine that. And the thing is, right? The anger brings all these things. Anger breeds hope. Anger brings the will to do something. Anger breeds love. Anger breeds compassion. Anger breeds death. Anger breeds life. Anger breeds fear, and anger breeds greed. And bruh, like, imagine that. But let's get back into the video, guys. Enough of me talking about my next one. If you don't really need to care about that, but that's just something you need to take in consideration, cause I'm that nigga. So we get on. They make Shinso and Kendo the vice and president. Where Shinso is the vice president, and although he having a villain quirk, he's kind of smart in the class, so people like say, yeah, he's smart, but he also has a villainous quirk, so they're like, okay, I'm not gonna judge him this one time because he's really smart sometimes. So they're gonna like he's vice captain and Kendo is like president. So Deku goes on and does the rest of the classes because I don't really know much about general studies. All I know is about May and she. I only kind of saw her in the support course, so I don't really know about anything about that. But I know there are other characters. So alright, let's go on. So then Deku says. So Deku goes back. He does his math work in he does his math work. He did all of his math work before, so he has free time now. So he goes to the training facility. Now, let's explain how UA looks. So UA still has that big building in the middle of everything, but on the outside it has a ring around it with training facilities, tech facilities, like a large amount of facilities, which under also facilities inside of the real building. But on the outside, there's so when you come through the gates, there's this big H building. But now there's a ring around that H building, and then the many other like buildings that are around the way. So, yeah. So Deku goes and he goes to the training facility, the drone training facility. So he goes in there and he puts on his venom suit, and drones start coming out of the walls, and drones are shooting towards him, shooting like rubber bullets at him, and he's dodging, weaving. One comes near his head, he flips over, that one catches the bullet and uses his web to sling it right back at one, shooting one in its like propellers, and it falls to the ground. But before it hits the ground, Deku runs up on the wall, shoots the web, and catches the drone and swings it towards another drone, exploding it. He then jumps in the air, doing 3 backflips in midair, and lands on a drone, punching his hand right through the drone and ripping it out, also destroying the drone. Which before it was able to plummet, he used his web and slinged it over to another one. He used his web and used his venom bite or and sent electricity towards the drone, and it electrified the drone, making it fail. And Deku slammed it onto another drone, and the drone starts like bringing out the real guns. Man bringing out a minigun, a shotgun, basically, all connected to this one fucking thing. And yeah, Deku's being able to dodge it, but barely. And he's really heavily using his like spidey sense and not really skill. So he's dodging this by here, and he's like, wait, I have venom. Fuck this shit. So he's like venom and predict the trajectory of the bullets, and venom just locks on all the bullets, and he's like, hey, dodge, weed, dodge, weed, and finally gets to it, and then uses makes his hand into an axe and slices it in half, using his other hand, making a hammer, and destroys another drone, doing a backflip, using and combining his hand to make a mallet with spikes on it, and he just slam it down on another drone, and Deku makes scythes out of his hand and starts slicing each and every one of the drones until he reaches the high score, which was put on by Mirio. And talking about Mirio was also looking along with Nejire and discount $3 store Sasuke. So they are watching, and they're like, damn, he tight. Like, man's was barely looking, because you remember he's doing his spidey sense, so it basically looks like he's not looking, but he definitely isn't looking at the same time. So yeah, he's kind of not looking, but he's also looking at the same time. But it's pretty confusing, so don't try to wrap your head around it, because I haven't done that shit yet, and I've been a Spider-Man fan for years. So so that you just takes off the venom suit, and they see it goes right back in to the nape of his neck, where the nape of his neck had a tattoo of a diamond on it, which is also because that's where his quirk releases itself. So Mirio, what's the fuck is your name again? Damn it. Mirio Nedre discounts Sasuke and comes towards Deku and starts saying, "Yo, yeah, you good, you look good." But let's backtrack for a minute. Yes, I did call him $3 for Sasuke, but I actually like his character. He's a good person. Like he good. He's actually a god too. Like he's in god tier at this point. But again, he's kind of a discount Sasuke in terms of looks, and that technically by his technique, 'cause he kind of copies everything he sees. The little bitch ass Sasuke. I don't hate him like I hate Sasuke, and I'm gonna actually right after this, I'm gonna do a video on explaining why the fuck I hate Sasuke, and I'm gonna explain it. I'm not probably not gonna put a thumbnail on this bitch. I'm just gonna full on explain what my hatred and animosity towards Sasuke and why I hate the fucking life out of him. So, do not worry. I'm gonna put on another video. I'm gonna explain why I hate Sasuke and why Naruto's backstory is worse than Sasuke and blah 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 here forth and here on. And I'm gonna explain why people think that Sasuke is a good person, where in actuality he's not. He's not. Like basically he's a fucking brat and he got everything he wanted. So, I know some people will disagree with me, but also I also don't care because it's me. And if you call me on my bullshit, and if I find out that my bullshit was actually right and you're just trying to find some shallow point, bitch, I'm gonna blast your ass. Anyways, let's get right into this video though, because I think I'm gonna end it soon because I'm kind of tired of speaking. Although I have a script for Up to the US Dre, I'm kind of getting tired of speaking. So one part is that for me because I'm rambling on, and two is because I'm fucking me. So it kind of happens. I never really spoiling, so it's gonna be in the background. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of end this soon, so don't worry about it. It's not. It's gonna a good few minutes. If I make it to the USJ, I make it to USJ, but I probably won't. So this is where it comes here. So Nejire actually meets Deku, and Deku meets Nejire. Deku kind of slips his number into Nejire's shirt, and just like goes off and just like, hey, fuck that noise. He just slips his number there, like, bruh. And there's a little bit of history between Nejire and Deku, which we will find out in the other part because I'm not explaining it here. We're explaining Naruto's backstory with his father here, not that. So yeah, Deku goes to his class and they're going out to do hero versus villains, but it's not gonna be heroes versus villains because I think that's too fucking blunt. And since this is I get to do a Spider-Man, I'm gonna make him battle in his own terrain and completely show how versatile his quirk is. Well, yeah, his quirk, and how versatile his movement and acrobatics are, and how strong he is, and how good he is at what he does. So Deku, and I'm gonna also bring some like actual things that I should have like explained in his powers, but I also didn't at the same time. So Deku goes and he remember he's always in his uniform under the clothes, so he's like just always fitted, so he doesn't really need to change back into this hero costume. So they go in and Deku just goes and they go into the USJ. Well, not the USJ, not the USJ. Damn it. They go to the hero first and villain place, and this time they're basically saying, basically it's a daily game of hide and seek, and basically everyone's fucking it, so everything is free game. So 1, 2, 3, go, and everyone's like, damn, that's fast. And before they could say anything, Deku's gone. He's not there anymore, and they didn't know when he moved. And this especially infuriates Bakugo because yeah, Bakugo and Deku did know each other before. Because remember, Deku did go to school at some point in time in life, and that Bakugo did bully Deku. And remember, Bakugo kind of has a inferiority complex, and he's way more cocky than he was in like canon, since Deku wasn't there to like do shit. So I don't know what exactly he did, but I think he was like an anger towards Bakugo's like lack of fuckagivery. But I don't know. I don't really care at the same time. So fuck you and fuck that and fuck your life. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I'm being kind of mean, but I also like being mean. So fuck you, fuck your life, fuck your sister, and your mother. Okay, no, I didn't mean that, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, um, Deku goes in and he's just like, hey, bet. And he's just on the tallest building, which actually no one can see him because, like I said, man's incognito, man's invisible. So, who you think could catch him? Actually, the only person I think could catch him and see him primarily is kind of like invisible girl, which I'll explain later because I always had this theory like invisible people could see invisible people because it wouldn't make sense, right? So I think invisible people can see invisible people, but we will never know that because like no two invisible people has been in a room at the same time. So I honestly don't know. So I always think that is like it's so invisible girl. But she wouldn't be able to see him technically because like Hideku's like godly. So he's on the tallest building and he's just like there, just looking at all of his prey that he has to catch in his nest. So he claims the top of this tower his nest. And he starts spewing webs at places, making a spider nest. And if you had not watched Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, the the actual movie one from Marvel, that thing, yeah. If you didn't watch that, you wouldn't know what's going on. So yeah, so Deku actually releases his spider arms because if you forgot them, so four red spider arms come out from Deku's back, and they kind of extend forward, and Deku jumps down. Now we go over to who is Deku's first prey? Who is Deku's first prey? Let me check the script. Kind of didn't even put it in order. I just put in a line. Any, mini, miny, mo, catch your finger, understood. You are it. Kaminari. Okay, so Deku goes into a dark room which is solidified by darkness. And he can see a blonde-haired boy with a black stripe in his hair, wearing a black leather jacket with a white t-shirt under it, with a kind of calm on the side of his head, and some black shoes and black pants with a belt. And Deku's just crawling on the walls, and he goes up in the walls and hangs upside down. And this is his first prey, so he's like, "You're my first prey, so I'll deal with you quickly." And Deku just comes down using his web and just he's right behind him, like he's right behind him, but he can't see him, so he wouldn't do anything. So Kaminari was just looking around, being on guard, until he get punched in the face. And he's like, damn, what the fuck? And he's like, getting punched in the back. And he's like, what the fuck again? Because he does know where, like, Invisible Girl is. So he knows this is not Invisible Girl. So he's just like, fuck, where the fuck am I? And normally, Kashima could not. Kaminari could sense where Deku is. But remember, Venom kind of has this ability where Spider-Man's spider sense doesn't sense him. So since no one actually is a Spider-Man in this universe, I'm gonna kind of make that even more overpowered, so where no one can actually sense him. If you have a sensing quirk, so let's say if Daredevil was to try to find, using his hearing and stuff, to find Deku, to find Venom, it wouldn't work. So yeah, so he can't find out where Deku is, can't do shit. And he's been trying to find out where everybody is, but he can never find Deku. And Deku just punching him. And so this is where he realizes it's Deku. And but before he could say something, Deku webs up his mouth and knees him to the face, and he just falls on his knees and just like kinda just falls. And Deku wraps him up in webs all the way up to his top of his head and puts him over his shoulder, and he kind of goes up to the roof, and he connects him to this web nest, just like how a spider would to like any other thing. So Deku then jumps right back down. He goes, and his second prey, me, mini, mighty, mo, catch your finger on the toe. There you go. So second prey is Mina. So Deku goes into and sees Mina, and Mina, she get taken out just like Carrie, like Kaminari, because I'm not, like she can't see, sense, or know where Deku is. So, but this is where the tricky part comes in. So he catches everybody except Todoroki, Bakugo, Mon- Momo, Jiro, and Suyu, because the reason he didn't take them out because they know the most about Deku, so they probably have a countermeasure towards his quirk because he did tell them what his quirk weaknesses are, and he's kind of gonna be more prepared going in there. So his second target is like Todoroki. Well, not he's the second. He's like the his 15th target. I don't know how people in class 1A. I give a fuck. So he goes for Todoroki. He's on the roof. Well, not on the roof, but like hanging upside down from the roof, just looking at Todoroki. Todoroki was never a team player in the first place, so you could pair up with people, and when people tried to pair up with Todoroki, he refuses them and says he can do this on his own. And Deku kind of is gonna not even he's gonna humble him a little, but he's gonna like say, "You need people to help you, even I do that, and I'm way stronger than him." Where yeah, that is a little cocky on Deku's part, but he can back up his words. He is really powerful, and y'all be sleeping on this Deku. This Deku doesn't give a fuck. He's like, fuck morals, fuck that, and fuck that shit. I'm gonna be bleach your ass till you bloody, but don't kill you because I have a moral code. So yeah, that's how kind of how Deku is in this like what if he's like, I don't give a fuck, you don't give a fuck about me, I don't give a fuck about you. It's simple math, buddy. And he goes down, and he appears right behind um Todoroki, and he makes his hand into a scythe, and he puts it towards Todoroki's neck. Todoroki's still not noticing, but he does feel a slight change in the wind, which he finds weird until Deku makes himself not invisible anymore. And Deku mockingly says, "So you don't need partners, do you?" And and this is where Todoroki is just about to move, but then he realizes something is on his neck, and he looks down and sees a sight right by his neck. So if he moves anymore, that's his head, and he knows this, right? And he's like, "I'm better than you, and you must know that, you peasant." Well, he doesn't say peasant, but he basically just says, "I'm better than you," in a more convoluted way. But I'm not gonna explain that shit. I do I look like a fucking genius? Well, kind of am, but like I'm kind of iffy on that. I'm not a genius, but I'm not dumb. I'm kind of smart-ish. Like I kind of really smart-ish, but like that's not even a word. But like I kind of. How did I explain this? I'm smarter than an average person, but I'm not crazy smart. I'm not crazy smart. Like I'm not crazy smart. So yeah, I'm smarter than an average person, but I'm not crazy smart. I'm not like I know everything in the universe, but like I'm pretty decent. I like to think of myself as like pretty decent. I'm smarter than most, so I don't really care. So Deku just like goes to Todoroki and just says, "You don't need help, huh?" And Deku just like kicks his knees. Says, "Fuck that noise." He kicks his knees. He moves aside before he hits the ground, and Todoroki lands on his like hands, and he's stunned. He's getting his ass humbled. Deku just then lands on the ground and kicks this man in the belly while he's still on the floor, right? And he just in the wall. He's not even registering stuff at this point. His eyes and his brain are not committing. So they're like, "Hey, fuck that. We trying to figure out where Deku is." And Deku's not even invisible. He's just walking straight towards him. And yes, Deku did kick him so hard that he can't really pick up Deku's signature at this point. So he's seeing double of everything. So yeah, that's how hard Deku kicked him. So Deku just picks him up by the neck and punches him in the face repeatedly and starts beating this nigga down. So, and remember, everyone's still stuck in their cocoon like things. So they're hanging, but they're unconscious because Deku's before going off, he scratched the post, turning the webs green, turning the webs purple, and injecting a kind of sleeping poison towards them. So they kind of don't need oxygen, and but they're kind of gonna stay asleep for the rest of the day. unless Deku wills them not to. So Deku just starts beating the ever living fuck of out of like Todoroki and just says, "You're not that strong as I thought you were. You talk a big game, but you're kind of weak, to be honest with you." Really? I now notice this, bro, guys. I now notice this. You know said it how it says, "What if?" Like, I left out the H, so it's supposed to be WHAT, and I wrote WAT. Fuck. Anyways, I don't care. Fuck that shit. It's a typo, so I don't give a fuck. So guys, just know it's a typo and just leave it off from there. Cause I'm not gonna fix it. I'm sure I'm not gonna fix that shit. I don't really care. So Deku just kind of he's just fucking Todoroki shit. He's like beating those everything the snot out of this nigga. Guy's eyes blue. And remember, Deku kind of doesn't really care because at first Todoroki was a big fucking jerk. So that was already at odds with him. And then to find out that he looks down on everyone he meets, bro. He's beating the ever living shit out of Todoroki because Todoroki thinks he's the best and thinks that he only needs his eyes to be the best. And Deku is humbling his ass. So Deku shoots two webs out of his hand and it shoots towards the middle of Todoroki's face, the middle of his forehead, and Deku pulls it down, slamming Todoroki's forehead in the ground. And then when he like pulls himself back up, Deku kicks him right back into the face. And you might say Deku's going pretty hard, but like remember, Todoroki was looking down on Deku, so he's like, "Hey, the person you're looking down on is fucking your shit. So what you gonna do?" So he tells Todoroki this: the person you were looking down on is saying that I'm not you can't beat me because I'm better than you. It's tell me how you're gonna beat me now. And Todoroki shoots a blast of ice, but then Deku just shoots a venom bite web at it, and it kind of explodes. Deku looks at him, just goes walking slowly in front of him, grabs him by the hair, and tells him, "You're nothing special. Your quirk is nothing special. Your a mere existence is nothing special. You're just this one speck on this tiny earth. This tiny earth. You're just one speck. You're not vital to the civilization. I'm not vital. None of us here are vital for the earth to go on. But you in fact, you think you're special. But you really aren't. Your quirk is simple as shit. There's nothing extravagant about your quirk. Yes, you're powerful in your own right, but you fail to use one part of your quirk, and you think that it's someone else's. So, let me tell you this, Todoroki. If it was your father's quirk, then he technically should be able to take it away from you, right? And then, therefore, he should be able to give it one of his other kids that's more obedient and more, less, to put it bluntly, smarter. So, if you say your father is if your fire is your father's, then technically you are basically just ice, and ice shatters really quickly, and you're just nothing to me. It's just how your mere existence is actually funny. You think you're strong, but you're actually weak. You think you look good, but you're actually still a jerk inside. No homo though. You kind of look good, but not as good as me. So yeah, that kind of sucks. But hey, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. And he just says, "Bro, you're nothing special. You were never nothing special. You're not the smartest. You're not the strongest. You're not the most. You don't have the best personality. You don't have good reflexes. You're not physically strong. You're nothing. You're just this one guy on this one earth that is the number two hero's son, and you don't even own up to the one thing that should make you special, but somehow you manage to fuck that up and you make it not special. That must really suck." And he then webs Todoroki up in the coop. So Todoroki was conscious for all that Deku said, and Deku scratched the cocoon, and the cocoon turned purple like all the other cocoons, and he got knocked out, and he attached him to the web nest. But all this time, Bakugo was trying to find Deku. He was trying to fight Deku in specifically, and this is where he finally found him, beating the ever-living fuck out of Todoroki. But before Bakugo could even speak, a web had inside his mouth, and Deku was kind of mad. So when he just rushes towards and kicks Bakugo through two buildings, not one, two buildings. So Bakugo is at his last feet, just by getting pelted through two buildings. Now, I'm not just saying that Bakugo isn't strong, but he's not. He can't survive two buildings being kicked by the force of a venomized Deku. And remember, Deku also does physical training, so he's actually strong in his base form without his quirk. So Bakugo is essentially right here, right now, fucked. So Deku just kind of walks over to him, pulls shoots a web at his forehead, pulls it down, and makes him hit the floor. Then Deku kicks him in the face and says, "Your quirk is kinda interesting. Mind if I copy that?" Oh, well, then Bakugo says, actually, I don't care what you think." And Deku just kinda walks away, wrapping Bakugo's in a cocoon, scratches it, putting it up with a lot of the set. This is where he finally goes to Momo and Jiro and Suyu, and this is where his biggest challenge yet. And this is where, when he as he walked in the room, because he knew hiding from them is really insignificant. Because although he can become invisible, he cannot hide his heat signature. So Momo would already think to put out heat signature goggles, which he actually did. But when he exactly got in there, a blast of sound hit him like a brick, and he flew out of there. Not by the concussion of the force, but by his quirk, no less. His quirk completely hates any high pitched sound. It is kind of resistant to it, but it's not that good. Unlike his fire, he kind of notched that out by having the fireproof, him absorbing the fireproof suit. But he didn't have a soundproof suit just there laying around. So he, in this fit of rage, and kind of not rage, but like kind of like pain, and his emotions are all over the place, he starts remembering his past until everything goes black and white. Deku wakes up in his bed, but he's next to someone, himself. Well, a young virgin himself. A young virgin where his parents weren't divorced yet. This is Deku's past. You then see commotion coming out from outside. Deku gets up and goes to the door and sees his father kinda hitting his mother. Beating her, in fact. Remember, this is not actual Deku's real father. We all know who Deku's real father is. In the comments down below, you all technically know who Deku's father is. But I'm not gonna say it because I want that to be a big reveal. Although we all know who it is, but it's gonna be real dramatic soon. So Deku also walks out with this kid, and he exactly know what this is. This is where he sees, and he tries to tell his dad to stop, and in a fit of pure, unbridled rage, because Deku's father had just lost his job, and Deku's father in this one are his kind of father is quirkless, so he was bullied all out through his life, and that made him become a delinquent and blah 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 and yada yada. He changed his life around when he got a job, but he lost his job, and he feels weak and pathetic because he's relying on his wife. So he's also sexist. So yeah, he feels like he shouldn't be relying on this woman, this in his eyes a lower being, and he's just saying, "Get out of here, kid." And he's just angry. He has a gun in his hand. Yeah, he does have a gun in his hand, and he just he points at Deku and says, "Fucking leave, kid." And then Deku runs towards him because he's actually choking his mother at this time, and just in this fit of rage and anger, Deku father pulls the trigger, and the bullet goes right through the middle of Deku's chest, and the astral form of Deku just touches the exact spot where his father shot him, and Deku landed on the floor, unmoving, seeming like he's dead. And Deku's father dropped the gun and was shocked, but he picked back up the gun and ran and ran and ran and ran. And Deku's mother just crawled over to Deku, holding Deku's unmoving body in her arms, just holding him and holding him and crying and crying and crying and crying. Now, I said Deku, this is where his mother and father didn't get divorced yet. But in technicality, they were getting ready to be divorced. Actually, the paper that they were divorced, both of them had just wrote it. Well, yeah, so they have already been divorced, but Deku didn't know of this at the time. So, yeah. And Deku is just unmoving. Almost seems like he's dead until this black coop comes out of the exact hole inside of his body and starts wrapping around his body. And it becomes the symbiote, attaching it around his body, keeping him alive until the paramedics were able to come there and help Deku. Yeah, the venom did heal all the injuries in his body, but he still felt pain, and that still caused him when he woke back up from the symbiote healing him. He went straight back out because he was still in pain. It didn't erase the pain that he felt. So Deku is actually just still 5 or 4 years old at this point. So yeah, so Deku just goes in. So he's in a hospital and he wakes up. Remember every single second of what happened to him. Every single second, every single millisecond, every single plankton of a second. Second. And Deku is just sad and depressed. His own father tried to kill him. Well, technically he didn't try to kill him. He was angry. But that's still not an excuse. He just shoot the kid. So, yeah, his father did try to kill him. So Deku's just there laying motionless. His eyes open. He's breathing, but his body looks limp and dead. And he's actually much paler than he is supposed to be. So, yeah. So Deku's just roll over on the bed and just sulking in all of his pain, all of his just destruct and just anguish and just overwhelming sadness. You would think that Deku would be mad at his father, but he's just giving less of a fuck, and he's just like he at this moment he gave up on life itself, and it says, what's the point of being mad? It's gonna end up to nothing. That's his thought process until his mother walks in the room and she starts hugging him and saying everything's gonna be okay and blah blah blah. But Deku knows deep inside of his heart he wants to believe everything's gonna be okay, but he knows from now on nothing's gonna be the same. And Deku is just sad. And this is where we flash back to present time, where we see Deku's venom kind of ripping off of his body and just going back into the diamond shape, which, if it's forcefully doing so, hurts the fuck out of him. And he's just yelling in pain and agony. And the girls are kind of crying because they know this is hurting him, but they also want to win. So they're just crying and at the same time kind of trying to win. So Deku finds resolve to stand and put back on the venom suit, and he jumps out of a sound wave, punches the wall, grabs both of them, scratches them on the neck, and they all go fall asleep and get caught up in Deku's cocoons. So the thing ends, and this is where we're gonna leave off this video. And this is where we're gonna finish off because the last part was pretty grim, and this is where we find out. So we're gonna find out a little bit more about Deku's father and where he is at this point in the next video, and we're gonna find out the relationship between Deku and Nejire, and we're gonna find out the relationship with Deku, Nejire, Momo, Juro, and Suyu, because all three of them have a connection with, all technically four of them, has a connection with Deku. And a new Tanjiro series is going to be coming out to replace the Tanjiro, what if Tanjiro had the sun breath, because if you didn't realize, I only go up to the point where the anime ends, and all the anime ends, because like the movie's coming, the movie came out, but we're not talking about that. Well, tell me guys how excited you are for the Naruto What Ifs to get put back on. So the schedule for Naruto What Ifs to come back is the What If Naruto is like this series coming back first. What if Naruto had Ashura's powers, all of Ashura's powers? What if Naruto? I'm also talking about 6 side mode, so note that. Yeah, note that. So I'm not too sure on it. Like, I don't want to make him too overpowered and ridiculously overpowered, but I kind of want him to give him path throughout the reason. I'm probably gonna make it to the words where he actually uses this full course mark. Not his full karma, his his full power of his karma seal. So yeah. I know Sasuke will not be having in the same karma seal. In fact, I'm not even sure if I'm making Sasuke Indra's reincarnation. I'm not even sure if I'm giving him the Renegade in this What If, because actually I might. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna make him last. Yeah, okay, I might. Guys, so you get to decide Sasuke's fate. So, guys, so if you want me to like fuck him over completely, I'm still gonna give him the Heathen regards Indra, but I mean like make Naruto dog shit on him. Like it's not at the point where it's not even funny. Where I make Naruto dog shit on him, or I let him off. Not like well, the other part is not even easy, but I give him minor here and there. So guys, tell me what you feel on it, and blah blah blah. So Deku just goes. So that'll be it for today, and guys, tell me how you like this video. Like, tell me if it was a G, like most of my videos, or tell me if it was trash, like some of my videos. So, yeah, that'll be it for today, guys. That's the end of the video. Blah blah blah. I'll stop recording.